Stephen Woolfe joins me now from Wrexham. Stephen Woolfe, welcome to the programme.
Good
Suzanne
morning.
Evans said Nigel Farage is perceived as a very divisive figure. Do you agree?
Of course not, Andrew. Nigel is one of the most transformative politicians on the EU issue in the last 20 years. This is a man that has led this political party to victory in the European Union elections last year, which has not been achieved by any other political party other than the Conservatives and Labour Party. This is the man that led us this year to 4 million people voting for us and actually having our first elected MP via a general election rather than a by-election. This is a man that has led us through hundreds of them.
All right. I get the point. You don't think he's a divisive figure. I get that.
The divisive issue in this country is whether we should remain in the EU or should leave the EU. That is the issue that matters most to people at this moment, as you just heard in your programme with Liam
should
Fox.
Suzanne Evans, should she have been immediately frozen out by the party after she said these words?
Well, I think, unfortunately, what I can understand, I wasn't part of the process. I certainly didn't see the email until many others, like yourself on the show, saw it. What we have there is someone going outside of their authority in issuing an email. We clearly know that Suzanne has been an important part of this political party.
Yeah, but hold on, the email begins, I have just spoken to Nigel, which we assume is obviously Nigel Farage, and in the light of Suzanne Evans' comments to the Daily Politics, I issue the following directive, and then he basically sends her to Siberia. So he had the leader's approval to do this.
Well, I don't think you can read in that he had the leader's approval to carry on what was actually an unauthorised email.
But what bit have I just spoken to Nigel, which then gives him the authority to... What bit have I not understand about that?
But I speak to Nigel all the time, and when I'm talking to Nigel, I don't go off and send emails about what my conversations are, because what I'm trying to do is deal with the constituents who in the Northwest who have concerns about the transatlantic trade issues that we then brought up in the European Parliament. They're more concerned that they see a party like UKIP standing up for them, opposing that trade issues that could bring a devastating effect on the NHS. If someone wishes to be unauthorising emails, then the political party that I belong to will actually have procedures in place to deal with that. I'm sure that will happen. But what is absolutely clear is what we have here is a concerted effort to ensure that we don't talk about the most important issue facing this country, is whether we stay in the EU or not. And I will be certainly working with Nigel in the leadership of this campaign to make sure that people understand that we could be outwardly trading a global nation that works with the rest of the world, showing that we'll have positive issues outside of Europe, and that we will certainly do a hell of a lot better than staying inside it.
But people are also trying to work out who should be leading this campaign, who should be the top people in it, and that is why Mr. Farage's behaviour is interesting. I mean, she was frozen out of the party, Suzanne Evans, even though she's your deputy chairman. Then within 24 hours, she was unsacked. I mean, this is not a serious way for a party or a party leader to behave.
Nigel has behaved impeccably during this process. He cannot be there to make sure that every individual is doing their job properly. Now, what you've clearly seen is that someone has...
But he was consulted. He was clearly consulted before the memo was sent out.
Andrew, we have no idea what that consultation was about. And that is what's important about that email. As a lawyer advising yourself, as I have done as a general counsel advising people, you'd have an investigation to find out what these people meant. Sometimes people overstep the mark. That's clearly what's happened here. What Nigel has done has made it absolutely clear on shows like this that he will play an important role in this referendum campaign. We will have a dream team of people saying that we will have a better way outside of the European Union, whether they come from politics, whether they come from business, whether they come from other areas such as sports people or entertainment stars, people who will engage with the public, particularly the young people in this country who have a future to understand where they should be, whether they should be out there working with Africa and Asia and the Middle East, or whether they should be restricted with just the European Union.
So should Nigel Farage lead the Out campaign?
He has already said he will play a significant role as part of a team, and I will hopefully be part of that team with many others, as you heard with Dr. Liam Fox and others on this campaign. And I think that's what you'll see, a very significant debate.
But come the big TV debate, the final TV debate, probably the Prime Minister arguing to stay in, should Nigel Farage be the other person arguing to stay out?
Oh, absolutely. In the way that he destroyed Nick Clegg, you'll see millions of people around this country watching their televisions, listening to the arguments, and they will be there watching whether Nigel Farage and David Cameron debate the issues. But one thing that was certain is that when Nigel Farage debates David Cameron, who doesn't want to do it, he tried to avoid it during the general election, will be defeated on every single point, because David Cameron doesn't believe in ensuring that this country leaves the European Union. He wants to seek very feeble changes which won't have a major impact.
So Mr Farage should be the top man. He should be the figurehead to lead the campaign.
What we're talking about there, Andrew, was a specific debate. I'm sure there'll be numbers of debates. I hope that you have more successful debates like you did last time.
Is the big one, as you know, and you think it should be the leader of UKIP.
Well, I believe that Nigel's will play that significant role that he's already suggested. If there is one debate, then I certainly believe, and would you expect me otherwise, to say that Nigel should be that person in that debate. But I know that you and others and other television shows will actually have many debates, and there'll be many faces on there, and I hope they're as successful as the ones that you had during the election.
Is your party in financial trouble? Are there reports this morning of a £500,000 funding gap that needs to be filled by next month? Are you running out of money?
Andrew, you know that we don't get as much funding into our pockets as the Labour Party does from the unions or the large corporates that have a vested interest in staying in the European Union funding the Conservative Party.
So are you running out of money?
Our money mainly comes from members. We've expended a lot during the European elections. We spent a lot during the general election. And what I will say is that, like all political parties, we're trying to fill our coffers again. And I'm sure that our coffers will be filled for this European Union referendum.
Right, but will you, apparently you owe 500,000 now that has to be paid by next month. Have you got that money or any prospect of raising it?
I'm not on the NEC. Andrew, so I don't actually see the finances of the party. I actually know that we have very good people in charge of that. They'll make sure that we've done it. We've always managed to pay our bills before. We'll pay our bills in the future. But what you will find is that the party as a whole and our members come together always when it's necessary to make sure that we push this issue forward.
All right.
And you've seen it before. We'll do it again. And once more, when the referendum comes, we'll be up there at front.
Finally, Mr Woolfe, you said that to ITV that you would like to lead the party at some stage. Nigel Farage said that there could well be a vacancy in about 20 or 30 years. At this rate, do you think UKIP will still be around in 5 years, never mind 20?
Andrew, we're going to be leading this in the future. When we're outside of the European Union, we'll be a party that addresses all the issues that matter that I saw knocking on the doors in the streets of Stockport where I stand, which is the NHS and education and trade and immigration. That political party will be there after the referendum, and I hope to play a significant role in that as well.
Okay, Steve Woolfe, thank you very much. Joining us there from Wrexham.